to this Stockbox interview. Welcome to the Research Talks here on Stockbox with Alan Green. Alan, it's good to be talking to you again. How are you doing?
Hello, Mark. It's Friday again, isn't it? It's that time of the week. I'm very good, thanks. Yes, funny old August, really. Some good weather, some rubbish weather. Mostly rubbish, I have to say. But anyway, it's the impending weekend's always a good thing.
Yes, it's always a good thing, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. So yes, it's good to be speaking to you again. And today we're going to be hopefully dispelling a few myths about the rare earth space, aren't we? And what they're all about, because they're there on the periodic table and they're little understood, I think, elements, but very important across many aspects of industry, particularly, I think, in the upcoming EV revolution as well. So you're going to enlighten us, I think, on I'll give us a bit of a science class, maybe on
I don't know about that. I'll just, but obviously, yes, the periodic table. Everyone remembers the periodic table from chemistry lessons at school. Of course, discovered by Mendeleev in the mid 19th century, and of course, the periodic table basically lines up all of the elements according to their atomic weight, and that's why they're grouped in the method in which they are grouped, and of course it's then realized that it was then realized that each element had certain properties. So the properties were further grouped again, not only according to atomic weight but also according to their similarities. And if you look at the periodic table now, there are some very good examples of the periodic table highlighting rare earth elements. So rare earth elements are a group of 17 chemical elements that occur together in the periodic table. You'll see scandium, yttrium over on the left, and the lanthanides group, which is at the bottom, containing the other 14. And the lanthanide elements include lanthanum, cerium, praseodymium, neodymium, prothemium, or promethium rather. And of course, if you're fans of the Alien Saga, the film Prometheus will mean something to you there. It's one of the hardest metals in existence. And of course, these all have different qualities. Some of them are highly dangerous. They're highly radioactive. But of course, really up until the 60s, there was very little demand for rare earth elements because of course electronics and gadgetry per se hadn't come to the fore. Since then, of course, we've seen the explosion in color television, we've seen the explosion in the telecommunications industry, and of course across the defense industry there are a wide range of instruments that are in use to help with waging war, for want of a better term. So the demand for these elements first came in the 60s. First color TV sets came onto the market, and europium was the essential element for producing color images. And instantly at that point, the Mountain Pass mine started producing europium from bastnäsite, and it all of a sudden, not overnight, but certainly within a few years, made the Mountain Pass mine the largest rare earth producer in the world, and put the US right up at the front. Then, of course, in the early 80s, as color TVs became commonplace and the early computers started to evolve, China started emerging on the world stage as a producer in its own right, and became really a leading producer throughout the 90s and the early noughties. But as such, China was very protectionist in its attitude and really controlled the market to the point where I think up until recently, most of the production, well, in fact, up to today, I think most of the production of rare earths still takes place in China. So it's a very tightly controlled market. Now, one of the myths about rare earths is that they are rare, and actually they're not. These these elements, of course, the range of use is nebulous, as we've already outlined, but they are quite abundant in the Earth's crust. In fact, some of them are 100 times more common than gold. But the difficulty is that they occur in the world's crust, in the Earth's crust around the globe, but they don't occur in commercially viable quantities because it's literally dotted here and there. So the challenge is, of course, finding a rare earth mine to develop to be able to produce the elements for whatever purpose they will ultimately be used in commercial quantities, and that has been the challenge. But of course, the way we live now is changing. Everyone carries a mobile phone, and numerous rare earth elements are within each mobile, particularly the smartphones that we use. But with the rapid evolution of the EV industry, several pounds of rare earth metals are used in each rare earth battery. So, of course, the quantities that are required have now rocketed massively and are set to exponentially grow in the coming years. So, of course, what that means is mining companies with rare earth projects are very much in pole position to be able to take advantage of that and deliver to the companies that will consume them, the gigafactories and so on. So for us as investors, of course, it's an exciting time because companies with rare earth projects that have the commercial quantities in the ground, that have the access to market, so easy communication, easy links to market to get the stuff out, get it to the gigafactories, get it to the manufacturers. That's really investing utopia within this sector. So it's a very exciting place to be right now, Mark.
Okay, good. Thank you for that. I learned a few things there, Alan. Maybe you should go into teaching. No, that's good. That's good. So talking about that, then we've got opportunities to invest, of course, haven't we, in this space?
We have indeed. There are a number of companies in this space. I say a number, I mean relatively few. But one, of course, that we have spoken about, and of course you've interviewed Christian Taylor Wilkinson, the CEO, recently, is Altona Rare Earths. And we've spoken about Altona a few times. The company is currently listed on Aquis, but it is expected by the end of September that it will have completed its move to the LSE. And of course, I know with other companies moving from Aquis to main market, these things sometimes take more time, but that's the general guidance that the company has given the market. Mm-hmm. So currently listed on the Aquis market, the shares are currently trading at a mid price of 14.75p, giving the company a market cap of 3.1 million, which in my opinion is derisory. I don't think it's going to stay here for very long, and I think once the main market listing takes place, regardless of the progress with the projects that the company has made, I think we're going to see it move ahead very rapidly. It's very rare to find a mining company in this space now with a market cap that low. So Altona is quite an old company. It's formerly Altona Energy, launched, it was actually first listed in 2004, and historically had some coal asset impairments, which were basically put to bed in the last set of results. And at the start of the year, the company started raising funds to invest into rare earth projects. A bit about the board, first of all. So we have Christian Taylor Wilkinson, who's been associated with Altona since 2014. He was initially the PR advisor to the company through Leander PR, which he founded in 2009. Very much a long-term city professional, having getting over 30 years experience. Also worked as a broker previously as well. So very good at articulating the investment case and the investment proposition, and obviously, recognizes a great opportunity when he sees it. Yeah, we have Martin Wood in as the non-exec chairman. He's director of Vicarage Capital, which is also a broker in the in the London market. Also, the CEO of ASX listed Koji Iron, and has also worked in banking previously too. Non-executive director on the board, Simon Tucker, is also the CEO of SRT Marine. Has been involved with the company at board level since 2002. And then the most recent appointment is, of course, Cedric Simonet. Now, Cedric has 25 years experience exploring and developing mining mineral assets in Africa and also in France. Cedric was head geologist and pit manager at Sagerum Fluorspar mine, and also regional manager with IG Resources. Has also co-founded a number of other companies. Formerly chaired the Kenya Chamber of Mines, and has vast amounts of experience working in Africa. So he's the head geologist, and is also now on the board, recently promoted as Chief Ops Officer, and alongside him, of course, is another non-exec, Audrey Matopi, who's CEO of South African System Logic Group, and very much engaged and involved in data, and chairperson of a number of schools, and a very high-profile person. So a very strong board are backing the company up and looking after day-to-day operations. So the company has step by step engaged in due diligence on a number of rare earth projects in Africa. There was the Nankoma rare earth project in Uganda that the company were looking at, and it was announced at the start of July that the company decided, after due diligence, that it had decided not to continue with bringing the Nankoma project into the company. Nonetheless, it has worked at the start of the year on the Monte Moambe rare earths project, which is in the Tete province in northwest Mozambique. And this is also sited at the same fluorspar mine that Cedric Simonet has worked on over the years. It's already got 165 rotary drill holes spread over some 12 kilometers, and has already intersected rare earths in at least 4 areas. 49 meters down, they intersected 2.5% total rare earth oxides. 36 meters down, 2.5% rare earth oxides, and 2.2% 96 meters down. So that's pretty consistent reading all the way through. And on the back of that, the company announced an agreement on June the 25th with Sakoti to buy Monte Moambe rare earth project, and has set up a special purpose vehicle to hold the license. The deal here, quite simply, is the company acquires 1% on signing. Then phase 1, which will take place within 8 months, is a £40,000 investment and an issue of 1 million shares to gain 20% of the asset. Within a year, 50% of the asset with a further 40,000 and a further 1 million shares. Stage 3, the company can acquire up to 70% with a further investment of 160,000 and a further 1 million shares. So a very good deal to stage into, and the due diligence has taken a long time to complete. But a lot of that work was also undertaken by Gavin Beer, who was the consultant metallurgist for the company, and undertook that work at a lab in Melbourne. So that's very well done to the board for completing that. Currently, Altona has a further 3 or 4 rare earth projects under investigation, which it expects to point or expects to complete by the year end. Some of these projects have been historically mined already, and some are literally virgin territory. There is, I think, we're expecting our first memorandum of understanding on one of these projects within the next month and a half. So probably by the end of September, we'll have some news on that front too. So it's going to be a busy September for the group, obviously with the expected listing on the LSE and also the next phase of MOU. So with the group, as I say, there is very strong corporate governance, and I think what's also caught my ear and eyes as well was the fact that the year end for the company, the financial year end, and I mentioned the historical assets, the coal assets, the financial year end for the company, the results were produced just 30 or so days after that year end, which is pretty rare. I mean, often you'll get full year results out. I think it's nearly a year later from companies, but here the company wanted very strong corporate governance and very strong, and diligent approach to managing the company, and henceforth the results will produce so quickly. And of course, from that we know the company has raised has had staged investments over the year, raising a total of 1.1 million over the year. So the company is well funded to complete the next phase of works on Monte Moambi and also undertake the due dil that's required on these new upcoming rare earth projects. So it's a very exciting time. And I think the great thing is with an investment like this, yes, we've seen the share price pop up over the past few days, but at 3 million, that's keeping the lights on valuation. There's nothing more. There's no premium at all for the value of these rare earth assets. And I think September for Altona rare earths is going to be a transformational month.
Mm. And what's the market cap at the moment, Alan?
3.1 million.
3.1 million. Yeah. Okay. So very cheap. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is there anything we can compare other rare earth companies out there? Like, there's a 2 or 3 Rainbow, Pensana, and Kavang. No, what is it? Makango. That's it.
Makango. Yeah.
Yeah. They have rare earth projects, don't they, as well?
I think a lot of the other companies have projects, but I think probably the only pure rare earths are Pensana and Rainbow rare earths.
Rainbow, right? Okay.
To my knowledge, and I'm just
Rainbow. I'm just having a look now. 63 million.
Rainbow's 63 million, and I think
Pensana's nearly 200.
Yeah, I was going to say. So, and that's obviously those are companies that are a little further down the road.
Yeah.
But bearing in mind, as I say, that China still very much controls the market. Just have in your mind several pounds. That's actual pounds of rare earth metals go into each EV battery. How many EVs are going to be sold over the next few years? So that really, I think, graphically illustrates the demand for rare earths and companies in this space, the sort of growth we're going to see going forward. So I think Altona is set for a really exciting period of growth.
Yeah, I think it certainly can be. Yeah, and it will time quite well with September, the autumn, and the market. The volume tends to return to the markets around that time, and I think it could be transformational when they move off Aquis onto the main. It has been in the past for other companies, hasn't it? We've seen it before, where it makes a huge difference.
It does. Well, I think it helps retail investors too. I mean, Aquis has taken some great steps forward this year, and of course, we spoke to other companies. I mean, CoinCell, of course, have had a pretty spectacular year to date, and we've seen plenty of other companies. But I think it's the liquidity and the exposure to funds and everything else it brings with a main market listing. And I think once that's achieved, then the company is it's literally on. It's on the launch pad.
Indeed. Okay, good. Well, thank you very much, Alan, there, talking to us about rare earths and then about rare earth investment opportunities. And I think that is a compelling case there with Altona Rare Earths personally. And it's right where you say it's very rare to find a mining exploration company with that market cap in these times.
Indeed.
Well, thank you, Alan, and we'll catch up again in a week's time.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.